Audience applause swells as the camera sweeps across a bright daytime talk show set. Host Kelly Clarkson, charismatic and upbeat, strides toward center stage. Beside her is Sandra Bullock, poised, gracious, and widely admired. Both wave as the crowd cheers. Kelly, to camera, smiling bright. Welcome back to the Kelly Clarkson Show. Today we have a very special guest, the incomparable Sandra Bullock. The audience erupts. Sandra, grinning. Thanks for having me. Kelly, I've been excited about this all week. Kelly, you've got a new project, and I hear it's your most personal role yet. But before we talk about that, I've got to ask, are you as competitive as people say? Sandra laughs, but there's a brief flicker in her eyes. Competitive, curious. Sandra, maybe just a little, but only in games like charades, and maybe trivia. Kelly leads into a light segment. Fans submit questions via social media. The mood is playful, and Sandra opens up about her career. Audience member VO, Sandra, what's the boldest choice you've made in your career? Sandra, I think it's choosing roles that scared me. That's where I grow the most. The audience applauds. Kelly nods appreciatively, but somewhere beneath the surface, both women feel the beginnings of a creative friction. Cut to B-roll of them sharing an awkward laugh. Camera captures a subtle eyebrow raise. Kelly, smiling, curious. So if you had to pick one thing that's the biggest misconception about you, what would it be? Sandra pauses. That I'm always serious. I actually love a good laugh, just not when people make fun of my shoes. The audience laughs. Kelly picks up her cue, but the tone grows sharper than intended. Kelly, speaking of looks, laughs. You once said, insert fictional spicy quote here. Are you still holding that? Sandra, turning slightly. I said it as a joke. There's nuance there. There's a momentary tension as Sandra corrects the record. Kelly's smile tightens. It feels like a challenge now. Fade out as the audience claps, but what began light is edging toward friction. The energy has shifted. Sandra is answering a deeper question about emotional vulnerability in her roles. Kelly listens intently but the segment is running long. Kelly, that's fascinating, Sandra. But let me ask, some fans felt your last film lacked heart. How would you respond to that? Sandra raises an eyebrow, taken slightly off guard. Sandra, honestly, I'd say they're missing the point. The film wasn't about grand gestures. It was about quiet truth. Kelly, sincerely curious, but edging toward confrontation. But don't you think audiences deserve something more dramatic? Something big? The audience shifts, sensing the tension. Sandra pauses. Her face warms, guarded. Sandra, emphatic. I think quiet truth is big. Not all emotion screams. Kelly leans forward, soft smile masking determination. Kelly, what if quiet isn't enough? What if people crave spectacle? Sandra, voice rising slightly. Not everyone needs spectacle to feel. That's a narrow view. Kelly's smile falters. The audience murmurs. Producer headsets rustle. Kelly looks off camera briefly. Kelly, still smiling, but sharper. Fair. But critics have said your last two films underperformed. Thoughts? Sandra's jaw tightens. She's not used to this tone. A tone that feels less like curiosity and more like challenge. Sandra, cool, direct. Every film has its place. And every audience has its voice, and even critics. The live audience claps politely, but the vibe has changed. This feels more like debate than entertainment. Kelly, trying to recover. Let's lighten it a bit. Rapid fire. Favorite comfort food? The attempt at levity lands awkwardly. Sandra answers, but the undercurrent remains. Audience member to friend. Wow, that's tense. As Kelly moves on, Sandra's expression clouds. Something's unresolved, and we feel the gravity building towards something bigger. Kelly brings out prop cards for a fun segment. Antics. Jokes, audience interaction, but the earlier tension lingers. Kelly flips a card. Kelly, all right. Next question. What's the biggest misstep you ever made in an interview? Audience laughs, sensing this could be juicy. Sandra chuckles. There was that one time? But Kelly interrupts, leaning in just a bit too eagerly. Kelly, come on, was that really the worst? Or is the worst still buried somewhere? Sandra stops. The lightness evaporates. Sandra, cold. Look, I came here to talk about craft, not gossip. If that's the direction this is going... Kelly, defensive. I'm just asking a question. Sandra, no, you're trying to bait me. I'm not here for that. Gasps ripple through the audience. Kelly's face tightens. This feels like more than playful banter now. Kelly, sharply, I'm just doing my job. Sandra, shaking head, not if your job is to undermine your guest. A long pause. The tension is palpable. Kelly exhales. Kelly, maybe we need a break. Sandra stands, visibly frustrated. Sandra, I think I'm done here. Producers and crew rush toward Kelly. Monitors show Sandra storming down backstage. Corridors, frustrated, resolute. Producer number 1 to Kelly. What happened out there? Kelly, soft, reflective. I pushed too hard. I didn't mean to. She trails off, glancing toward the stage entrance where Sandra disappeared. Crew members exchange uneasy glances. Cut to Sandra, hallway. She pauses in a quiet corridor, catching her breath. A makeup artist approaches gently. Makeup artist, you okay? Sandra breathes. I'm fine. I just came to talk about my work. She looks determined, honest, still hurt. Cut to studio, live feed of empty set. The show goes to an unplanned commercial. Kelly addresses the audience afterward, sincere, composed. Kelly to camera. Today's conversation didn't go the way I wanted. I respect Sandra Bullock immensely, and if I crossed a line, I apologize. The crowd responds with supportive applause. Kelly, interview style. We aim for honest conversation. Sometimes that means listening as much as asking. Fade to black. Credits roll with reflective music.